So here I am again, sitting down with your comments on the Kermode Uncut website. The Quentin Tarantino isn't he any good debate continues to rage on. And let me start with an apology to several of you who pointed out this point. This from Aid Dreams of Pavement. I very much doubt that Quentin Tarantino had anything to do with the Inglourious Bastards title being changed for TV advertising. That's something the marketing people deal with, so you can't blame him for that. From Estonian film fan, I really think it's the marketing people, not Tarantino himself, who shortened the movie title to Inglorious. Tarantino has always preferred two-word titles. Let's not accuse the man falsely here. From Floyd75 Dylan, the Austin Powers franchise stuck to its guns when The Spy Who Shagged Me was released. It was the TV companies that censored the S words, and no, it wasn't the spy word they censored. And this from Ultra Magic, who gets a special apology. Cheers, Dr. K, for failing to mention who posted their thoughts on the renaming of Inglourious in the first place. Geez, what does it take to get some recognition around here? So to all of you, yeah, I know, it wasn't Quentin's fault. Yes, you brought it up first. Okay, we can forgive him for that. On to the more serious issues, this from Non-Servium. I'm surprised nobody has noticed the apparent self-negation in this video. Dr. K expresses the notion that Quentin Tarantino has somehow returned to an inferior previous style of filmmaking, namely the fanboy claptrap that made him famous in the first place, and draws comparison to the material we've seen in recent years. Yet in the same video, he mentions how much he really enjoyed the early Tarantino. So which is it, Mark? Are they both rubbish, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, or are they both brilliant? Actually, I have been accused of doing this before. I loved Reservoir Dogs when it came out. I really liked Pulp Fiction, although I thought that Reservoir Dogs had something very special. The thing is, I loved them as early movies. And what you want from a filmmaker is for them to move on, to develop, to go somewhere from them. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson, it wasn't his first film, but Boogie Nights is a really great calling card of a movie. But if he'd carried on making Boogie Nights, I would have the sheen would have somehow gone off. But he went on from there to do other wonderful things like Punch Drunk Love that mean I can go back and look at Boogie Nights and see all that talent and think, I still love it as much. But in the case of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, I go back to them and I see all that talent and I wonder what happened to it. Why it didn't go anywhere else. Why, after Jackie Brown, he just retreated to what I referred to as the infantile fanboy claptrap. I mean, think of it like somebody making music. You know, people make great, exciting, rowdy, noisy, aggressive adolescent records when they're in their teenage years, and then they go on to do something more interesting later on. You wouldn't want them to carry on sounding like snot-nosed punks. You want them to develop as artists. Unfortunately, Quentin Tarantino, after his fourth album, has been in serious decline. This from Marcus Muse. If you'll pardon the pun, you're missing the mark, Kermode. Boom. Jackie Brown is as much a fanboy film, if you want to call it that, as Kill Bill, as are Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. With Kill Bill, the references were to a much less sophisticated form of cinema, but beneath it had a brilliant story with characters who you loved. To propose such a crude dualistic divide in Tarantino's filmmaking as proper films and fan films is simplistic and at best short-sighted. I mean, I'm not saying that the fan films weren't any good. It's, as I said before, they served a purpose, but you have to move on from that. And I don't think, incidentally, that Kill Bill has a great story with characters that you love. Couldn't care less about any of them. This from Osteogenesis. I think you guys need to give Quentin Tarantino a break. He made the only decent film George Clooney was ever good in, a cinematic miracle, which I disagree with him. I'm a big George Clooney fan. I think he's a really great actor and totally unfair, but hey, a good joke. This final point from FinGig on a slightly lighter note. Tarantino is to 60s and 70s cinema what Lucas and Spielberg were for 30s and 40s matinee. The answer to the problem with Tarantino is not a return to form by Tarantino, as the doctor suggested. No. My faith lies with the soon-to-be-discovered kid who grew up with 80s and 90s tosh and is soon to be ready to redefine it, to add to the dialogue as he and she had wished it to be in the first place, and have a big studio back his or her idea to remake Pretty in Pink come Evil Dead. Personally speaking, I can't wait. And can I just take this belated opportunity to say, John Hughes, we miss you already.